We are in another collaboration hosted by Diane, the Canning Nana, and it is called November Soup Spectacular. So originally when we started this collaboration, we was going to make a loaded potato soup. But so many other great channels have been making potato soups that we figured we'd switch ours up a little bit. So today we're going to be making brown beans and cornbread. Brown bean soup. It is a great recipe, fill you up, really hearty type of soup. You can make it with next to nothing. Honestly, 1 pound of pinto beans cost me around about $1. And I'm just going to use leftover meat that we have had last night to finish this up. And then of course cornbread doesn't cost that much to make, so this can feed a lot of people, and really good wholesome stick to your bones type of soup. Diane, the Canning Nana, has also requested that we would put a word of the day down so you can enter to win a crock pot at the end of the month. Go to the playlist, watch all the playlist participants. There's some really great recipes in there, some really awesome soups. Hopefully you come back with a couple new recipes. We have all had a great time making our soups and enjoying watching everybody else's videos. So if you'll go to the playlist and watch the videos, like I said, every video should have a word of the day. And if you put that word of the day in the comments, you could be entered in the drawing to win a crock pot. Alright y'all, let's get into the soup. Pinto beans. And right now what we're going to do is wash these. Yep, they're playing. Wash these, get any, and then get them soaking. And we wash the beans because, you know, there's dirt on them. And then sometimes there is a stone or two in there. You want to make sure you get those out. There wasn't any in this one, but you never know, so you want to make sure. So I'm doing a whole pound of pinto beans, and now what you want to do is just cover these in water and let them soak. And there you go. Usually if any of them rise to the top, I will take them out because they might not be no count. So you're just going to let these soak overnight. You want to make sure your beans are completely covered. This is a whole pound of beans, so I think the package recommends soaking overnight, but you can also do a quick soak. Okay, our beans are now at least doubled in size, as you can tell. They soaked up. I've rinsed and drained the water probably about 3 times. So now we're going to drain these one more time. Simple, just like this. what's coming out of there right now is just empty bean papers. And now we are going to start actually cooking these. So last night we had a pork roast, noodle and gravy meal, and today we are making our brown beans. Now this is our leftover pork roast, and a lot of times with brown beans you're going to use a bone, a soup, what we call a soup bone, which is a ham bone with ham still on it. But being that we don't have a ham bone right now, we are just using our leftover roast. And I'm going to just get all the meat off of this and leave the fat out of our soup. But I want to get all the meat that I can off of this and put in this pan. This will also give our beans a bunch of flavor. This is a great way to use up any pork roast, ham bone. Usually at Christmas time we have the ham bone. We will stick that in the freezer just for this throughout the winter. Alright, that's about all of that. Let me wash my hands and I'll be right back. Okay, we got a good amount of meat off of it. And now all I'm going to do is add water. You want a fair amount of water because these will be cooking. And those beans are going to soak up so much more. I'm going to go ahead and add my beans. So that ups the volume quite a bit also. Now for my seasonings, I am not going to over season these because my roast was seasoned pretty well last night when I cooked it. So all I'm going to use in here is onion powder, garlic powder, a bit of chili powder, and some paprika. And I want to turn it up on high to get it to boil. Also going to add some pepper and just a little bit of seasoning salt. I don't want to over salt it. And some black pepper. Okay, now instead of water, you can use any kind of stock that you may have. I'm using just water because, like I said, my roast was seasoned pretty well, and I think that it will be fine without needing the flavor from the stock. And I'll save my stock for future recipes. Okay, now that we got it to a rolling boil, I had just a little bit of the bones from that roast, so I'm going to stick those in here as well. This is just going to add a little bit more flavor to our soup. And until you get it to this boil, you just want to stir it a bit to make sure that the beans aren't sticking. I'm going to let this boil like this probably for about 30 minutes to an hour, just to really get it going cooking and getting those flavors out of those bones. And then I'll turn it down. The beautiful thing about this soup is that you can add as much meat or no meat at all if you don't want it. If you choose to not add meat, I would suggest to use the broth just to give it some more flavor. But yeah, this is a super simple soup. This is gonna boil, like I said, probably 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what it looks like. And then I will turn it down and I will continue cooking at a slow simmer almost all day. It does take a while when you're using dried beans, but the end product is so worth it. This has been boiling for 45 minutes now, and all I'm gonna do is grab out this bone. Make sure no beans or meat is with it. Probably be a lot easier with a slotted spoon. But I just want to grab out both those pieces so I don't forget. There we go. And that was just going to give it more flavor. Now you can see, hopefully, that the water has really went down. Let's see if you can see that. So I'm going to turn it down. On my stove it's about a 3. And then I'm going to add more water as this boils out. And the beans soak it up. Give it a little stir. Turn it down and just let this cook. And this is going to take, like I said, almost all day. And I can add water as I need it throughout the cooking process. Now that I've turned it down, I'm going to put my lid on. This is just what I do. You can also do this in a crock pot if you soak your beans overnight and put all your stuff in the crock pot in the mornings. And time you get home, it could be done. But I'm just going to put that on, offset the lid a little bit to allow the steam to come out. Okay, our soup is ready. Been boiling and cooking for hours. Just gonna go ahead and serve it up. Now I've had to add water to this, but here you go. Brown beans with pork. And we also make it with cornbread. So brown beans and cornbread, yummy. Now, this is a fill you up type of soup. I had to get my spoon. This is a fill you up type of soup that will warm you up and keep you going all day. So super simple recipe. Brown pinto beans, I used 1 pound package. Just some leftover, like I said, a leftover ham bone. Leftover, we use pork. So any pork leftover roast or anything you have like that. And some spices and you're good to go. Or you don't have to use the meat at all if you don't eat meat. You can just use spices and water, and vegetable stock to flavor it. But this is the first brown bean soup I've had all year. Super yummy. Have y'all ever had this? Do you cook it for your family? Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. And y'all come back.